Have you heard it your whole life? That you're too sensitive? That your empathy is some heavy burden you have to lug around? A life sentence of feeling everyone else's pain? It's a story that can make you feel broken, or at least not exactly built for this often harsh world. But what if your sensitivity, the very thing you were taught to see as a weakness, is actually the source of some incredible superpowers? We're talking about scientifically backed advantages in your creativity, your intuition, and even your own personal happiness. Today, we're shifting the conversation from the burdened empath and exploring 3 unexpected benefits that will change how you see yourself forever. For a long time, the conversation around empathy has focused almost entirely on the downsides: the emotional overwhelm, the burnout, the struggle to set boundaries. And look, those challenges are real. But they're only one side of the coin. An emerging body of research from neuroscience and psychology is painting a much more complete and empowering picture. Scientists are finding that the highly tuned brain of an empath, the very wiring that lets you feel so deeply, is also linked to some profound personal advantages. This isn't about empty affirmations or toxic positivity. It's about understanding the biological and cognitive setup that makes you who you are, and learning to use it as the incredible asset it truly is. So, let's get into the first, and maybe the most surprising, benefit. Number 1. Heightened creativity. You might feel overwhelmed by the constant flood of emotions from the world. It can feel like you're a radio picking up a dozen different stations at once, a chaotic jumble of joy, anxiety, anger, and hope. This constant emotional static can feel distracting, making it tough to focus. You might even believe this chaos stifles your creativity, that you need a quiet, sterile room away from everyone just to think clearly. But what if that influx isn't noise? What if it's data? Empathy is a powerful engine for heightened creativity. Recent science has drawn a fascinating and clear line connecting empathy and creative output. Specifically, studies have found a crucial distinction. While emotional empathy, feeling what others feel, wasn't directly linked to creativity, cognitive empathy absolutely was. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand and adopt another person's perspective, to see the world through their eyes. Studies involving hundreds of people found a significant positive link between this ability and everyday creative acts. People who were better at perspective taking were more likely to engage in everything from writing and art to innovative problem solving. Think about what creativity really is. It's connecting different ideas in a new way. It's seeing a problem from an angle nobody else has. As an empath, your mind is a natural playground for this. You don't just see one perspective, your own. You instinctively model the perspectives of others. When you listen to a friend, you're running a cognitive simulation of their reality, considering their history, fears, and hopes. This is the very fuel for incredible creativity. This is why so many empaths are drawn to the arts. A novelist doesn't just write a character, they become them, understanding their deepest conflicts. A songwriter taps into a universal feeling of heartbreak or joy and gives it a voice that resonates with millions. A great designer doesn't just make a product, they anticipate the unspoken needs of the user, solving problems people didn't even know they had. Your ability to step into another person's shoes isn't just a social skill, it's a creative superpower. You see the world in multiple dimensions, and from that rich, layered understanding, you can bring forth ideas and solutions that are nuanced, profound, and deeply human. Your sensitivity isn't a distraction from your creativity. It's the source code. Number 2, powerful intuition. Do you constantly second-guess your gut feelings? Maybe you've been told you're too emotional or reading too much into things, so often that you've learned to distrust your inner compass. You might feel a sudden weird sense of dread before a meeting, or a feeling of deep resonance with a stranger, only to brush it off as your imagination. That self-doubt is paralyzing, leaving you disconnected from your own inner wisdom. But that sensitivity you were told to ignore is actually a highly tuned intuitive radar. That's way more than a simple gut feeling. While intuition often gets dismissed as mystical or unscientific, modern neuroscience sees it as a sophisticated form of unconscious pattern recognition. Your brain is a pattern-matching machine, And an empath brain is working with a much richer data set. Because you're so attuned to others, you are constantly and unconsciously picking up on micro-expressions, shifts in vocal tone, and changes in body language. Your brain processes all this subtle, nonverbal data in the background. That gut feeling isn't magic. It's the result of a rapid, complex calculation your subconscious mind just made. It's your system flagging a mismatch between what someone is saying and what their body is screaming. It's you sensing a wave of anxiety in an office, even when everyone is smiling. This is a form of what's known as tacit knowledge, knowing something without being able to immediately explain how you know it. It's a skill honed over a lifetime of deep emotional awareness. For empaths, this intuitive, felt sense is a cognitive advantage. In fields like therapy, teaching, or leadership, this is invaluable. It lets a therapist sense unspoken trauma or helps a leader read the room and adjust their message. Think about your own life. Have you ever just known a friend who said, "I'm fine," was actually falling apart? Or felt an immediate, unexplainable sense of trust with one person while feeling a subtle nope around another? That is your highly developed intuition at work. It's not about being judgmental. It's about discernment. Your intuition is a guidance system, an internal lie detector, and a source of insight that lets you navigate human complexities with an awareness others often miss. Learning to trust it isn't about being irrational. It's about finally acknowledging the full spectrum of your intelligence. Number 3, deeper well-being and connection. You've likely been deeply hurt in relationships. When you feel everything so intensely, the sting of betrayal and the ache of misunderstanding can feel massive. You might have a history of being the emotional dumping ground for others, leaving you drained, resentful, and scared to open your heart again. The common advice is to protect yourself by building your walls higher and loving a little less. But that same depth that makes you vulnerable to pain is also what gives you access to the highest levels of human connection and joy. Empathy, when you understand it, is a direct path to greater well-being and life satisfaction. The emotional sponge narrative focuses only on absorbing negative emotions, but it ignores a critical truth revealed by research. Empathy is a two-way street for all emotions, including the good ones. Research highlighted in publications like Greater Good magazine and Psychology Today shows that people who actively empathize with positive emotions report significantly greater happiness in their own lives. Feeling genuine joy for a friend's success, sharing in the excitement of a celebration, or feeling warmth from an act of kindness. These experiences are amplified for empaths. This concept is often called appreciative joy or positive empathy. While empathizing with suffering can be draining, empathizing with joy is regenerative. It boosts your own positive emotions and creates a powerful feedback loop of connection and happiness. You aren't just a sponge for pain, you are an amplifier for joy. Your capacity to feel deeply means you experience the good in life more richly. A beautiful song might move you to tears of joy. A loved one's success can feel like a personal victory. This ability to share in positive states is profoundly good for your mental health and has been shown to increase life satisfaction. Furthermore, this depth allows you to form incredibly strong, meaningful bonds. While shallow relationships might leave you feeling empty, the connections you do form have a level of understanding and intimacy that many people crave but never experience. You're the friend people turn to, not just because you'll listen, but because they know you'll understand. You create safe harbors for the people in your life, and while that requires healthy boundaries to avoid burnout, the reward is a life rich with authentic, soulful connections. That's the opposite of a burden. It's the very essence of a meaningful life. So, let's put it all together. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's the engine for your creativity, letting you see the world from endless perspectives. It's the source of your powerful intuition, a radar processing subtle data that others miss. And it's your key to profound well-being, allowing you to amplify joy and build incredibly deep relationships. The world tried to convince you that your greatest asset is a liability. It told you to toughen up and feel less. But the science and your own experience tell a different story. Your empathy, when you learn to understand and work with it, is your superpower. It's what allows you to create, connect, innovate, and heal, both others and yourself. Stop seeing yourself as broken. Start seeing yourself as gifted. The journey of the empath isn't about learning to feel less. It's about learning to wield your incredible capacity to feel with wisdom, boundaries, and a new appreciation for the strengths it gives you. You are not too sensitive. You are precisely as sensitive as you need to be. Now, I want to hear from you. Of these three benefits, heightened creativity, powerful intuition, and deeper well-being, which one hit home the most? Share your story in the comments. Let's build a community that celebrates these strengths together.